so it was during my marathoning when I would see men run past us women while we're standing in porta-can lines wasting time, and they'd run past us and go behind a tree or a car and then get back on the course. And I think, oh, that's so unfair. You know, we're losing time on the finish clock that we've trained so hard to finish quickly, and now we're wasting time. I thought we need to be able to do that.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer Podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, coming to you from the Lance Chuck Camper Mobile Podcast Studio, Master Captain Angie Scott.
Hey everyone, welcome to another empowering episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer Podcast. Getting a little inspired by Mel Robbins. I don't know if you guys listen to Mel Robbins' podcast. If you don't, you're looking to improve your life, I definitely recommend checking out her show. It's one of the top rated podcasts, and she just launched it not long ago, so she's doing amazing things, but I always enjoy the intros to her podcast, so I thought I could maybe use a little bit of her inspiration on the Woman Angler and Adventurer. But this is an empowering episode of the podcast because this week I'm featuring a lady who has identified a problem that we've all faced. We've talked about it on the show before. We're women. How do we easily go to the bathroom when we're in the middle of our outdoor adventures, be it hiking, camping, fishing, kayaking, all sorts of different applications that we find ourselves in where we don't have the easy ability like our male counterparts do. And so Debbie, herself being a hiker and a marathoner and just all-around outdoor adventurer, identified the issue and came up with an invention, and she's going to tell you all about it on this week's episode. So Debbie Mercer is founder and CEO of Zippers, and she's going to give us a little bit of the background on how this came to be, and also a little bit on the design that she worked with a lady named Monica. She's going to tell us a little bit about that as well. But I think you're really going to enjoy the story behind it. And if you haven't already checked out this product, you might be inspired to go check it out by the end of the episode as well. So either way, I know you're going to feel empowered and inspired by what Debbie has done. And I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and so excited to be a part of this podcast. My name is Debbie Mercer, and I am the founder of Zippers, which is a line of women's athletic pants that have a zipper that unzips from the front to the back, so a woman can just going to say it. A woman can pee outdoors without having to pull down her pants. She doesn't have to show onlookers her bottom or be in the environment. She can even go into like a porta-can or public restroom and unzip and not touch the toilet seat. And I originally came up with this idea because I was a marathoner. I still run half marathons, but don't really do fulls anymore. But I was a marathoner and was part of a national organization called USA Fit, which, by the way, I now also own. Nice. But I did that. But I fell in love with hiking a few years ago. And so it was during my marathoning when I would see men run past us women while we're standing in porta-can lines wasting time, and they'd run past us and go behind a tree or a car and then get back on the course. And I think, oh, that's so unfair. You know, we're losing time on the finish clock that we've trained so hard to finish quickly, and now we're wasting time. I thought we need to be able to do that. And so I just kind of, shelved it and didn't think too much about it again. But then when I was hiking the Grand Canyon with a bunch of my friends, one of my friends had to pull down her shorts at the bottom of the canyon. And there's not much shade. There's not much coverage. And we were with mixed company, and the guys are going, oh, we saw Teresa's bum that night. And I said, okay. So I'm gonna come back. So that's what happened. So that was in 2006, started working on it in 2017. My apparel designer designs costumes for international and domestic ballets. She is very, very adamant about making sure these pants fit a woman's body.
Yes.
And they're not just a men's pant that's been cut down smaller. And she's always said, I want these to be functional, but I also want them to be flattering. And so she and I started working together. So we launched at the end of 2019. And then, of course, we, had the challenges of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And, our customers now range from hikers and runners and campers and climbers. But what was really interesting is I just didn't really think about anglers at the time because I don't fish, but a customer found us and emailed us and said, oh my gosh, I need these. I'm in a fishing tournament. I have to have these. And I said, let me send you a free pair. Try them out. And we do this a lot for new customers that are trying them in different kind of environments that we haven't had experience with. And so we sent it to her. We sent her a pair and she ended up loving them and has now used them in several of her tournaments and had bought more and have shared it with her friends. And, she just says the convenience of being able to have, like a pot or something on the boat and to be able to unzip and nobody knowing what you're doing.
Right.
Was game changer for her.
Yeah, that's definitely a big issue for us anglers, especially tournament anglers, because some tournaments actually don't allow the anglers to get off the boat. I'm sure they would, make an exception if there's some kind of emergency. But in general, just going to shore and using the bathroom isn't really an option. And so, what a lot of ladies do for solution is, a lot of them just dehydrate themselves, and that's not a good, good thing to do to your body. But others, that's just, you gotta just, pull down your pants and go off the side of the boat if that's what you gotta do. And a lot of these lakes we fish, there's not really private places you can go, or there's other people that are fishing around you. And so you just have to kind of be okay with showing in the world everything. And, so this is an excellent solution to that. I'm gonna have to get me some because my first tournament this year was actually the first time I had been doing the dehydrate method that I mentioned, where I just don't drink anything until the tournament's over, and or very, very little anyways. And this I've been hydrating myself a lot more here lately, like really trying to get my water intake in every day. And so leading up to the tournament, I'm like, well, I'm not just going to stop that, now my body's used to it. So, I still continued to hydrate as I normally did. And by about, I don't know what time it was, maybe 11 o'clock, I was like, I have got to go to the bathroom. And,
my goodness.
And luckily where the lake I was fishing, we were actually in a the creek area that had like nothing. There was no one around, so I wasn't too worried about it. But that's not always the case. So.
Well, and and I had being hydrated just pounded into me when I started training for marathons, because that's like that is something you have to be hydrated when you're out there. And I was a slow runner, and I'm still a slow runner. So for a marathon, I'd be out there for 5 hours, and you deplete that water, and it's very dangerous. And I've heard a lot of women of our customers have said exactly what you've said. I'll go on these hikes, and I'm going to be with all these men and stuff, and I don't want to have to pee there. I'm not going to drink any water, and it's really so dangerous. A woman the other day actually also told me that she got a UTI when she was, because she just wasn't peeing. So it makes me happy that these are actually not only convenient for women but also protects their health, which makes me really, really happy.
Yes, for sure. And so you also, I'm on the website here, and you mentioned hiking, paddling, like kayaking, fishing, of course, we touched on, running, but hunting as well. That's another, sport that a lot of women are really getting getting into, going out on these long hunts, and you're out in the elements and everything else. So it also makes it easy that, if you've got a lot of gear on, all you have to do is unzip and go.
Exactly. You don't have to take any of that gear off, which is really is nice. And I wanted to just touch briefly on how comfortable the zipper is, because, women are like, oh my God, I can just imagine that zipper right there. But we spent about a year finding the right fabric that sits between the zipper and the woman's skin. And the zipper never touches your skin. We have women, like I said, that are sitting in kayaks and boats and on planes for hours and hours and don't even realize that the zipper is there. Very, very comfortable. And we're about to release our adaptive line for women that are wheelchair dependent.
Yeah.
And this came from just like the woman that reached out to us about being in a kayak for hours and hours in a race. We had occupational therapists reach out to us and said, oh my gosh, we need these for our patients, our caregivers. It's so hard to take care of the medical needs when you have to pull their pants up and down when they're sitting in a wheelchair. So we went through a lot of modifications, and we're going to be releasing that this year as well.
Very cool. That's incredible. I mean, that's something that I wouldn't have thought of. So
no,
yeah.
I know.
Very, very cool.
And we just really love listening to women and get their ideas and their feedback. We take their feedback very seriously, and we really think about, well, maybe we can implement that. Maybe we can try that. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about, you mentioned, it's super important to you that the sizing and everything fits women. That's not an easy thing to do, because women have so many different body shapes and sizes. And how did you kind of go about that to make sure that you were going to have options that would work well for all the different body types?
Right. Well, it helped to have our apparel designer who's used to fitting dancers, although most dancers are pretty thin. But my apparel designer she has like a more athletic body, so she knows the challenges of having different body types. And we would make samples, and then we would take these samples of the different sizes, and we would have different women try them on. And knowing that we can't match every single person's body, we would at least try to get it as close to fitting most sizes as possible. And we offer exchanges, free exchanges, free shipping, free exchanges. And there's times either I'm on the phone with a customer, or Monica Guerrera is the designer. She's on the phone with them and just helping them decide what size is best, and we want our customers to be happy. We want them to love them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have several different options available. So, you've got more of a tactical kind of style pant to, like, what do you call them? Yoga pants. I don't know if that's what
we used to call them yoga pants, right? But women, they fish in them, they hike in them, they climb in them. The capris and the tights. It's just not limited to just yoga, but yoga's good too if you're in a hot yoga.
Yeah,
but you don't want to have to pull those things down if you have to go to the restroom.
Yeah, really, that's a good point too. If you're all hot and sweaty and then you pull your pants down, it's hard to get them back up sometimes.
Exactly.
Very cool. So the website is Ziphers, so ZIPHERS.com. And I will put a link to that in the show notes for this episode. So anyone interested, I highly recommend you go check them out. They do look very, very comfortable. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything else coming up that you want to mention other than the adaptive line?
We are looking at we released the white tights based on somebody in a kayak that said we'd like some UPF fabric, and we weren't pleased with the fabric once we got it. So we are looking at maybe doing another round of those. We're looking at hiking pants that unzip so that they turn into shorts,
Yeah, those would be great.
Yeah, it's just, it's just a process, but we want to keep producing and giving products that women love. Awesome. And empower them.
Love it. Love it. Great invention, great design.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing about it. And I look forward to hearing listener feedback as well. This is a topic that has come up on the show before, so here's a great solution for you ladies. Go check it out, zippers.com.
Right, and they can email us or call us, and we're happy to answer any questions that they may have.